and I kind of had a feeling about something that's been driving me bonkers. So we, I don't, my phone, which that I was able to do this with, my phone is from 2016. It's a LG V30. LG doesn't even make phones anymore. So it's an LG V30, which does effectively everything I need it to do. It's it's coming up on 6 years old at this point. I don't have any intention on getting rid of it. My brother-in-law, he had a Moto or a Droid way beyond where I thought it was normal. Like I think he had it for, I want to say, I might be wrong here, but I'm thinking about 8 years. I'll have to ask him. But it was, he loved the phone. I'm like, why don't you upgrade your phone? Why don't you get a new phone? And because he said he loved the Droid. That was back when I had the iPhone. I had the original iPhone. Then I had the iPhone 3, 3G, 3GS, or whatever the heck it was. 3GS. And then I had the 4, then the 6, 6S, and that was where I left it. After the 6S, I went to the V30, and I've never looked back. It's the greatest phone that I've ever had. Since the iPhone 4 was my second favorite. I've used the SE, which is similar, but the 4 seemed to be a perfect device. And here's why. The 4 was perfect because it was small. I go back to a 4, and I'm like, this thing is tiny. It's crazy. It's so small. But we've gotten, the joke around phones originally was going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until it was going to be like this big. You're going to be like, oh, it's a little tiny phone. It went the opposite way where it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we're in this like weird state of it has to be big enough. But I think it's about screen. The screen needs to be fit for what's comfortable. Like, I want a big television. I want an 80-inch television in my living room. My wife thinks a 60-inch is fine. 50 inch. So I'm like, I want it bigger. She wants it that size. So we both live in the same living room. We just have different preferences. And I think screens are the kicker, like why people are gravitating towards phones. For me, it's about the basic needs of a telephone. The basic needs for a telephone for me, the phone I do not need anymore. The phone is useless. I get more spam calls on a telephone, and clients and friends and family will attest. I do not pick up my phone nearly at all. My mother-in-law came over tonight for the Super Bowl, and my phone had been sitting on the counter for 5 hours. She's like, why aren't you answering my messages? I'm like, my phone's been, I have no idea where it is. I don't like the phone. I don't use it. I don't use Facebook Messenger. I don't use any of those things. But I think, and the reason why is because the phone, I've got it down to a point where the phone does what I need it to do. So here's my problem. We've got a phone. Let's see if I have a tablet. Do I have a tablet? Nope. Let's go computer. We have a computer. Here's what I'm going to do. I got to do this. Color fill. God, this is going to be terrible. No, shut up. Okay. We have a computer. Give me this. Whoop. That's got to be bigger than your phone. It's got to be bigger than that. That's way too big for what I'm trying to do. Let's get that down. Let's get this smaller. There, you guys can see that. All right. So I have a phone. I have a computer. I have a tablet, which I'll just represent by a square here. I'm just going to take this and turn it sideways. Copy V, turn it sideways, and stretch it. Can I do that? Nope, I can't stretch it that way. Anyways, a tablet. Sorry. Let's make editable. Thank you. All right. I'm going somewhere with this. Let's do that. I think these are 4:3 aspect ratio. I want to say they are. Oh my gosh. Make editable, you jerk. Make editable. Oh, you. Stop. Oh my God. Okay. I got to deselect. Thank you. Good Lord. That's too square. Let's make it that way. Get rid of you. I don't need you. Make editable. Uh-huh. Really? I'm just gonna make that orange. I'm done. Color fill. No shadow. Color fill. Why aren't you orange? Oh, shoot! I got on group. Is that right? Oh my god. So stupid. Why are you letting me stretch that but not letting me delete it? Delete. Delete. Nope, can't get rid of it. You suck. It's this. It's that size. Copy V. I don't know why I just didn't do this in the first place. It's going to be black. Color fill. I'm going somewhere with this. I'll make a nicer video on this. Color fill. I just had this in my mind right now. I wanted to do it. This is our tablet for the time being. You got your big black bezel. I don't think we have a button on that thing, don't we? I think we do. We have a button on it? Yeah, we have a button on it. That bezel's probably too big, but what are you gonna do? I don't. Why am I being a perfectionist about this? This is stupid. Shape. Make it white. Color fill. No shadow. Perfect. That's good enough. There. And fill and line. All right. For now, that's going to do. All right. All right. Phone, tablet, computer. What else do I have? I've got a television. Just make a normal square television. Whoop. I'll give myself the television I want. Let's go color fill, make it black. No shadow. And then copy and make that. Okay. So, and then I have any number of other devices, but here's what I want to talk about. We have all of these devices. They're all screens, every one of them. All 4 of these are screens. So they're all different sizes. Most are different aspect ratios. In fact, I have a monitor here that is turned on its side. So it is like a legal sheet of paper here, 11 by 17. So here's my thought when the phone first came out, and the 4 form size was super tiny. The 4 form size is actually smaller than my phone by a long shot. It's smaller than the screen of my phone right now. So color fill, make that, make this the iPhone 4, no shadow. That is how small the iPhone 4 used to be compared to the phone that I have now. Crazy. So, and it might be off by, I'm eyeballing it, but it's smaller than the screen. Let's make it slightly longer because it was, there you go. Because it was definitely, it was really an interesting success. Anyways, my thought for the 4 was that we would eliminate effectively, we would turn this little device, this little piece, all a phone is right now is a connection to the internet. That's how I see it. Some people use the phone as a phone. I get it. Some people use the computer as a device to use for work, right? But like everybody has a specific use case. But a phone, for most of the people that I know, most of the people I talk to, and they don't use a phone as a telephone anymore. The phone is we do Zoom calls all day. We text message, we messenger, we WeChat. What the hell is it called? What the heck is the app called? That's international. Anyways, Facebook owns it. I can't remember. I don't even have it anymore. But new slide. Please, somebody in the chat, tell me what the freak I'm talking about. It's Heather, what's the name of that worldwide messenger app we used to talk to Chile? Oh, it is WhatsApp. Okay, it's WhatsApp. Thank you. All right, WhatsApp is the name of it. All right. God dang it, will you stop? Please stop. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the iPhone 4 here. These are devices. I'm going to build this out as an actual thing, but I'm brainstorming this with you because it's been on my mind. I really got to hit this out there. So the two people that are watching, you are the greatest. You're getting a precursor. When this hits 1 trillion views on YouTube, you'll be like, oh my God, I was there for it. Let's see if you are on Twitch. Twitch.tv. Let's see. God, Twitch.tv. I want to see if anybody's messaging because I want to
I met this girl who
return
was
the favor.
busking
Where
and she was
am I?
playing this mantra
Where's
on
my
the
channel?
ukulele, and I really loved it.
My channel. Yep, great. I'm going to open the chat. Hello, everybody. Yep, great. I'm going to pop that chat out. Open the chat. Hello, everybody. Yep, great. I'm going to pop that chat out. Yep. Pop out chat. Thank you. There it goes. Great. So if someone chats me there it goes. Whoa, that is trippy as. I'm sorry that you guys had to see that. That was insane. Okay, back to Keynote. All right, I got my chat out. If you guys are talking to me, I'm here. If you're talking to me on Facebook, get off of Facebook right now. All right, so my iPhone right here. This is my iPhone 4. What I'd like to do is I like to take my iPhone 4 and I like to make it black. I like to turn it and make it very tiny. And then turn that effectively. I want to get rid of. This is where I want to be. This is where we should be right now. Right now. We had the phone invented, the telephone invented, what, 1800s? I don't know. The modern day cell phone in its smartphone iteration around 2007. I know there were flip phones before that, Nokia brick phones, but let's just start the smartphone revolution, and I'm not talking about PDAs or tablets or my Trio 300 or 600. I'm talking about smartphones in the way they are now, around 2007. So it's been around for 15 years. The phones have only scaled up, scaled down, and of course there's a massive amount of technology. But that all goes through many major institutions, whether it be Apple, whether it be Google, whether it be T-Mobile, Verizon. They're all controlling and pulling the rods of how the tool is used. Apple won't even let you, still to this day, 15 years later, will not let you name Bluetooth devices on your phone for some reason. I have no idea why that is. It's freaking hilarious. I was in the car with my son, and it took us 20 minutes to figure out he has 7,000 Bluetooth connections because he's going to his friends. He's going out. He's got all these connections. They're all like BT35, and like he has no idea what they are. So he has to kind of. It's smarter for him to delete his Bluetooth devices and then reset them up every time. It's silly. Why? I want to get away from that. What I'd like to do is take my iPhone, the form factor of my iPhone, and turn that into a smart box. Not a smartphone, just a smart box. Almost like a black box on an airplane, where this black box communicates certain aspects that you want to communicate. Is it location? Is it your identity? What are these things that you want to communicate? What do you have on that black box? What's instrumental to you? I think that if you had a black box, if you were ever in an accident where, of course, who cares? If you're, I'm going to say, like, the problem with your black box is it needs to be connected to you. It has to be on you. And if you're in an accident where you're unrecognizable, you have bigger fish to fry. But that's not a use case that I'm talking about. I'm talking about having a device on you that has your pertinent information that you need, that you utilize on a regular basis. Right now we use Google Pay, Apple Pay, all of these payment services. Maybe your banking information is connected there through some encryption. My thought is that you have a black box on your person that has communication in it. Now, the communication right now is done through T-Mobile, Verizon, some carrier, some service that allows you to do that. I'd imagine a box that would be connected to a personal service. This is going to sound almost conspiracy nut, but there are apps that do this where you can, what is it called? Proton mail type deal, where your information is encrypted or private. You have access to it, you can set the ticks for who can have access to it when that information is made available. By the way, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening that's ramping this up with me. Most recently, the craziest thing that just happened, I had the service that takes care, like Barrier or Aptiv, the people that come by to take care of your house for bugs. I got a notification from them in email that said, you need to opt out of communications. Like, if you don't want us to sell your information to somebody, click it. And I'm like, this is a bug company, a company that comes to our house and walks around the perimeter, has location information for all of that, has my payment information, has all of this info on me, and then is like, I'm packaging that up and selling it. I wouldn't, that's such a breach. So I went on the site to opt out. And when I went to opt out, of course, the opt out form does not work. It does not allow me to opt out of it. And I'm like, well, I'm immediately canceling the service. And of course, there's no way to cancel the service without calling, which I will do tomorrow because I just found out on the weekends. Terrifying that a company that is taking care of my bugs has the ability to sell whatever information they're gathering from their service at my location to anybody. And so I'm like, that's enough of that. I don't like having my information out there. I have fake phone numbers. I have fake email addresses for these places. I use fake payment information. I use privacy.com to send info so I can turn off payments anytime I want. It's not connected directly to a bank or a credit card. So I effectively zeroed out that card that I was using on privacy, so they're not going to be taking anything for me anymore. I'm trying to minimize what people have access to, not because I'm paranoid, but it's because I don't think people are aware of how much information is getting out there and how much it can be used to manipulate you. Another case in point from just today, I got an article about Mazda. I know this is all circumstantial, like there's not hard data, but it's just odd data that I see on a regular basis. This is the most recent example. I saw an article that had the 2023 Mazda Miata. Now, I owned a Mazda Miata back in 1999-ish, 1997. And it was a great vehicle. I loved it. 2-seater. Now that my kids are growing up, I was like, maybe, I saw the new Miata. I'm like, 2023 Miata, what does that look like? What does that cost? So, looked up the picture of the Miata. Was really impressed with the style of it. Looks really neat. Doesn't have the flip-up lights, but it looked cooler than any other Miata I've seen in the last, 20 plus years. It looks like an S2000, which is another Honda vehicle. Honda does make Miata. Anyways, I wound up looking at other pictures for Miatas. And tonight, after the Super Bowl, we put on a show on Tubi, which is a Fox, but I think it's owned by Fox, which is owned by Disney. Anyways, I was watching Tubi and we got an ad for a Mazda. Now, I have been watching a lot of Tubi. We watched The Freak Brothers. We watched a couple of shows on there. I think we watched, on a stream, I watched The Convent. I've watched a lot of it. I've watched several hours of it and never been advertised a Miata. And what was weird is it was one ad and then another that was more closely, like it was like feeling around, like almost if it had shown me right out of the gate an ad for a Miata, I'd be like, what the heck? But it showed me like this ad of an outdoor kind of group. And they showed me another one. And I'm like, wow, that's really weird that I looked it up. Of course, I know how the internet works. I know how like targeting IPs work. I know that my search data can bounce back. That's pretty quick and it's pretty good if Tubi's showing it. Just a weird coincidence. So I'm like, man, everything I do, everything I look at is being shared. So how do I pull that back? And it's not about, of course, being safer, but it's also about misdirecting. So, the information you give out, maybe it's incorrect. Maybe it's not truthful. Maybe give yourself a middle initial when you sign up for something. And when that middle initial comes back, like I have one that's like, I'm not even going to tell you what the initial was, but when it comes back, I know that that service was the one who, it was you who gave it up. So my middle initial is a modifier that I use to find out where my information is, who's selling my information, who's getting rid of it. So trying to pull back who has that info, but it's impossible because Apple owns your stuff, Google owns your stuff, Facebook owns everything you do online is being modified by Comcast. What's the other one? CenturyLink. You've got, Cablevision. I can't even remember the one down in California. Shaw, where you're in Canada. They all own it. So you are being packaged and you're a product to be sold to somebody else. What I'd love to do is get this box, this little black box, to contain the information that you'd be willing to share. It could be your name, could be your address. Like again, for if you died on the street and someone had to scan you and be like, oh my gosh, who is this? This device would be almost like a medic alert bracelet, which would have one tier of security that would have your basic information. And that would be medical information. So at one point, let's get this out here. Wow. So it has medical info that's free and open. Everybody has access to it. And it's, not your medical history. This is like hey, I have diabetes, or I have Hep C, or whatever the heck it is. I have neither, but let's get a meme started where I become the poster child for that. Let's get to all caps. There we go. And we're going to do 26. Okay. So you allow your medical info to be out there and scannable. Then the other thing you allow out there is maybe, let's see, what other use case? We'll have a tier down here. We'll make it a little bit more secure. It's for maybe payments, like daily payment. And then you'll have like secure files. Secure files. Oh my God, here, files. And then I'm gonna do one more. We're gonna make this one family. Okay, and then down here you have secure. And again, I'm not, there we go. Oh, sorry. Good Lord. Let's make a book. All right. I'm workshopping this right now as we're doing this stream. So this device contains a lot of info, or maybe they're keys to that info. So this device would allow access to that. This device would open, it's like a master key to open these locks depending on who has the secondary key. So this is how I see phones, or how I saw phones evolving initially. I thought phones would stop being phones. I thought having them as phones is funny. It's like having TVs are funny too. Televisions are stupid. And anybody who watches any television knows that a television's stupid. Like, why do I have to be sitting in front of my television at 8 o'clock to watch something? You shouldn't. Not in this day and age. You should be able to go in front of your television and be like, I'm sitting here. Give me access to it. Give me access to the television I want to watch. Not just like this terrestrial television. It seems like archaic based on how many streaming services out there, how much content's out there. You shouldn't have to be, if somebody wants to hook you on a show, it should not use the traditional model of getting those eyeballs in there at 8 o'clock. So phones are going to take a while to evolve as well. Tablets are going to take a while to evolve. So my thought initially was that this device would feed these elements. So this box is on my person. It is a keystone that opens that information. But here's where I really think this will be big and where it should be going. There you go. Remember all these guys from the first screen? Okay. So this device is on my person, whether it be like a wallet in my back pocket, whether it be my backpack, whether it be, not that I'd recommend this, but whether it be, oh God, I know this is opening up myself, whether it be sewn into your body, I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, like, there's ways this box will be stored to be the keystone for the rest of your info. Since you can't surgically put something in your body yourself, I wouldn't recommend. That's like, I have got to figure out about a better way to have that device on you. And maybe there's 2 points on you where you have that, and then it has the validator on you as well. So you would have this, again, this would suck, but two-factor authentication, where you'd have this keystone that would be not no fill, color fill, make it purple, and no shadow, no shadow. So this validator that you would have, and it would be, and now I know this is not optimal. It's something like a chip, an RFID chip, or whatever you put on a dog. That's you. That's something that you would be able to get done through whatever. We got to figure out how that identifier is there, because that would have to be embedded in you. Maybe we get another tooth put right in the middle of your mouth. Or it could be a ring. Heck, I just had my ring on. It could be a ring. Whatever it is, it's the validator, it's the ID that you've established. That's actually a great idea. Having a ring is something, because it's on you pretty much at all times. So, or a piece of jewelry, something that's on you, would validate that box. So if someone stole that from you, took it from you, they'd have to take 2 pieces of ID. And with the way touch access is right now, it could even have a scanner like that. Again, I don't know enough about that security tech. That could be a problem in itself. Anyways, end of the day, what I'm trying to do is keep that information that you want to give to whomever locked. And so here's where this gets cool in my mind, is that these devices all get powered from this. I don't need that little iPhone 4 anymore. Get out of there, iPhone 4. You've served your purpose. So this black box houses a bunch of keystones for this information, or it could be a way to pull information from a cloud service. It could be information to pull from your own personal server, whatever. But these keys would be tied to each individual device. Like I don't want my payment info on my phone. I don't want my medical information on my phone. I maybe want to keep tabs on my family. I don't want any of this crap on my phone. Well, do I need a phone at all? Well, maybe for emergency purposes, but it could be something as simple as a brick phone. Now, I'm not getting rid of your screen. Hold on, I'm not getting rid of your screen. The little, it could be a palm, like an iPad that's down to that size, that form factor. It's about the screen. So this screen is your laptop or your computer, your desktop computer. Do I want my medical information on it? Not really. When I go to websites, maybe I can enter those things in there. I don't know what I want on my computer. Maybe I want secure files on my computer because it's in my home. Then what do I want on my television? I want to have none of this on there. I want to have maybe family access so they can all have access to the streaming channels or what I have. So this device would allow you to communicate. Your new phone is your new black box, would allow you to dictate what's on there, what information gets out there, and how it interfaces with these other devices. Now, what's very challenging is that Apple's ecosystem forces you to sign up. And when you sign up for an account, you have to give them some information. I never use iCloud. I don't personally. We have a family account because they take a lot of pictures, and those pictures get backed up, and they get backed up to the cloud, and that's why we have iCloud. But I don't use it because I have an Android. So here's where I'm getting. Here's where it gets awesome. Because what I would love to have, I would love to have a device that I don't have to, like a watch. I don't have a watch, right? Why would I have a watch? I've got this brick in my pocket that has it. But what would be great is if I could know, whether it be, and again, you see glasses doing this, whether I could know what time it is by just going, oh, what time is it? Looking up, maybe the time's up there in my glasses. My glasses show a little representation of the time. Or I could look down at my wrist or wherever, and it's a gesture I make with my body that makes a little representation of that time show up. Like, okay, I need to know what time is it? And I look at my time. But it's a gesture that I make that looks time. So it doesn't, when I have a watch, when I had didn't have an Apple Watch, but when I had a watch, when somebody would call, my wrist would buzz and I would look at my watch. Now, someone could be talking and I'd be doing this. That is the rudest freaking thing you can do. It's someone's talking, you're just like, but I'd get a buzz, and intrinsically or naturally, I'd just, whoa, what times? So I think watches are a terrible place to get notifications because it's rude as F. So I'd like to have it in another way. Like, how can you get it? It could be a gentle vibration of your black box in your pocket. It could be a notification. Again, if you wear glasses, it could be a pop-up in there. It could be like, I have a hat right here. It could show up as a little blinking, like tag right in there. It just blinks and it catches my attention. I'm like, oh, I must have a notification, but it's subtle. I'm imagining what would happen here is, and I've got to, again, that's why I'm doing this stream, because I got to put these thoughts together, because my major idea is to have a black box that validates this info, but also with the size of, I don't know, I just got some SD cards. The memory on those things, I got 400 gigabytes. That's like, I mean, I can't, it's the smallest freaking imaginable size. 400 gigabytes. I got it right here. Hang on. 400 gigabytes. Ooh. My God, you got to see my amazing gut. My washboard apps. Okay. There it is. What the how big is that? How big is that? This is a pen. A normal. So, it's the size of the tip of this pen. Is 400 gigabytes. The Mac that I'm recording this on has 128 gigabytes. This has more, like almost 4x my freaking Mac, 3x, whatever, my Mac. But it's crazy that it's that small. So that little black box doesn't have, it just has to read from that. So, sorry, I didn't mean to show that. Sorry, I scared your dog. End of the day, I think you can put storage on there. You can store files on there. You can store that black box. I believe should be your central hub, your personal server. You've got your little purple identifier. That's you. And then you've got this box that has your information on it, whatever information you dictate. But it could also be your personal server, where it has the information that you utilize on these other devices. It could be keys to access the information on these devices, or could be the storage that feeds these devices, because cloud-based is effectively indirect from the machine you're currently working on. You're pulling down from Google, or you're pulling from some other cloud service like Sendy or Send Anywhere. You're pulling from these servers, these data centers out there. You could be the data center yourself. This device could be the data center that feeds these others. And again, it's just a hard drive storing information. You could, however you choose to, again, I'm not engineering this whole thing. I'm just wordsmithing this. Then, again, your phone, I would love to have the ability, if I wanted to communicate with somebody quickly, maybe I could do that by, again, having a screen that allows, that almost functions like an iPad or a phone, but it's the communication that I want to get out there, whether it be through, what's another one? Signal, some third-party encrypted. I don't even know if Signal is, I think Signal is encrypted. But sending it out there, if it's a screen, you could have a screen that is conformed to whatever size you want. Do you want, and I know this is going to sound silly at the moment, but if I lived in Pennsylvania, I wore a jacket 9 months, the same jacket, whether it was freezing or not, the same freaking jacket, 9 months of the year. It's just what I wore around. I have been at Twitch headquarters. I have had meetings year round with people that wear the same hoodies all year round. My son has very comfortable gear that he likes to wear. My daughter wears pajamas a lot. So if you had clothing that had a screen on it, a bendable screen, a screen that could be effectively fed by this device, you could have it on your you could have it sewn into your clothes, you could have it attached to your clothes, whatever. There's ways to embed a screen, whether it be rolled or not. I'm not saying clothing that you can wash that has a screen on it. Maybe it's there down the line, I'm not sure, but I'm saying like there's ways to integrate screens that you don't have to reach into your pocket. You don't have to look at your wrist. You can integrate it into clothing, or you can have a device like this iPad where you walk around with a folio that has, again, information. It has a stronger processor than this. This device could be almost, if you're having all the memory in this device or outside of here, my computer right now, again, my iPad I think has 64 gigs. My computer is 120. Actually, I think my iPad is 128. But you have a device that has, it's more of a processor. So you're not adding on a device that does the same stuff. My phone, my iPad, and my computer do the same things. I can communicate, I can create, again, they have the same, they have a board, they have RAM, they have the same components. So my thought is to have them amplify each other, not just exist. Like you can have a phone. If you want to have a phone, and you can have whatever unlocked on that phone. But your phone has X amount of power. My phone has been around since 2016. It's doing great. Got a new battery in it just last week. It's humming like a mamma jamma. It's got expandable memory. It's got a headphone jack. Everything I want in it. My phone's great. It's not going to get any better. Has a Snapdragon in it. It was like 625. I can't remember what Snapdragon it is. In fact, I don't even care. It just works. It works really well. So my phone, if I wanted to do additional apps, I could integrate my phone somehow into my tablet, whether hear me out, I know this is going to sound freaking crazy, but I can have an iPad or a tablet that allows me to plug my phone in, whatever that device is. It could be a phone, it could be just a smaller processing device that allows me to plug that into my tablet. And my tablet recognizes that there's an add-on piece for it. It can utilize the RAM, it can utilize the onboard, it could use the motherboard, it could use, CPU, it could use the RAM, could use those aspects. Heck, it could plug it in and use the headphone jack. Again, it would utilize the aspects, it recognize a new device, and use it in tandem with the current device. It should be able to, if you're working in the Apple ecosystem, it should be able to. If you're working in the Android, it should be able to. It should be able to recognize that you've added on a new piece. And again, this is make-believe. I'm throwing this out there like this would be how I envision these things working, where they amplify. You have these devices, they don't just stand alone. They don't just do the same things. Because I have the same, right now, I have the same apps on my iPad that I have on my phone that I have on my computer. Like I have what is it called? I've got on my phone and on my iPad, I have Empires and Puzzles. Good Lord. I have Send Anywhere on all three. I have Trello on all three. I have Evernote on all three. Like I've got the same apps. They're doing the same thing, but they're devices, and I'm relying on Evernote to hold my stuff. I'm relying on Trello to hold all my stuff, and that's okay to a certain extent. But I would love for it to have it on one device, and that one device will feed the others, or have one account, and those devices can share. Again, they already do, but what I'm depending on the context I'm in, I can let's just say if I'm using Trello for a project, I can use my phone to maybe just utilize notes, because having Trello boards open on my phone is not, I don't want to learn 3 different devices, 3 different screens, 3 different UIs for the same app. I would love my desktop to be like full-fledged Gantt chart level details on projects. I'd like my phone, this smaller device, to be available to just update projects on the fly, whatever. And then the tablet is like, if I wanted to go, I can do individual, whatever. I'd like to have the apps be that smart, but here's where going back to the original point, when you have devices that amplify each other, you can take an iPad, let's just say, you can have a computer that is like a shell. Your computer has memory, it has ports, it has all of these expandability options on it, but you would need to plug, oh my God, I got to group those. hang on, group, my tablet's falling apart. You would be able to plug that in, and maybe you plug that in and it utilizes the RAM for your iPad. It utilizes the memory, but it could also utilize the screen. You could have a dual screen. You could have that pop out, or you could have it here and you would have it, yeah, you'd plug this in, it would be able to utilize and amplify what it already has. But you could also use it as maybe an option to, well, however you want to plug it in, dual screen. Again, there's ways to utilize these devices in tandem that amplify, that make them all better. But right now they're all standalone general devices. Apple's doing some stuff with convergence that allows you to work between different apps. But I want to put these things, I want to give control of these things. I want to give control of the information that's on these things to the individual. And that cannot be done and will not be done through Google, Apple, Microsoft. They have all a vested interest in keeping you on a plan, subscription service connected to them in perpetuity forever and ever. The other thing is, again, all of these devices would work together and it would all, like, screens are not the problem. To the general market, when you start getting up into designs or doing color correcting on movies and videos, when you start getting up there, you need a higher end monitor. But again, you don't need a separate, you shouldn't need a separate computer for that. You should be able to add onto your machine. If you have a laptop, you should, by this point in time, be able to take your laptop, plug it into a dock station that allows again, eGPUs, allows you to do further graphic, give you further graphic power. I gotta go to bed. It's midnight. I am freaking exhausted. I can't form a freaking sentence. But anyways, there should be solutions in the play that allow you to do this, and there isn't. And there's a reason why, because they don't. I say you're the product. They don't want you to have autonomy. They don't want you to have an independent. They want to have everybody like siloed and warehoused and paying subscriptions or reliant on that. And that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future. But I really like the idea of having this little keystone option that opens up for maybe products that eventually amplify each other. Almost in well, it's not Brazil, where someone takes the technology that exists and is able to amplify it. Good Lord, every freaking video game from the future does that. Where you're like, you have all of these like steampunk engineers building these machines out of parts from the past. I really would like to see that modernized and used now, where people are using the exact, like, hey, you need a bigger screen? Great, here, you get a bigger screen. You don't have to upgrade your info. You don't have to upgrade your GPU or anything. You just get a bigger screen. And these pieces remain in your power at all times. Again, this is so makeshift right now. I apologize. There's 2 people still on here. Appreciate it. This is me working through this in my mind. I'm going to try to formulate some more cohesive thoughts on it. But the idea is like to keep these elements in control so that you don't have to worry about the the people that come to make sure your house doesn't get an ant infestation is selling your information to the highest bidder. That's absolutely horrifying and not a future that I look forward to. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for staying.